would, approach it from what the system does to us and what individuals would do to themselves. So what we have, especially in Nigeria, is a system that has not given a lot of attention to the elderly. It's a system that does not prepare the youth for when they become, 65, 75, 85. And, like you said in your introduction, it may be because we have somehow agreed with the life expectancy that we see, and we think, okay, yeah, if they can get to 70, then we're good. So I think some of the common mistakes that the system has allowed is not to have a good screening system for diseases that come, as you grow older. We may have the facilities to do it, but we have not emphasized for the people to check that out. So because when you are 50, for example, and nothing is done to check for colon cancer, for example, it may start developing at 50. It may not show its face until 65. So the person developed a polyp, which is a little ball in the intestine that grows to become cancer. It takes about 10 years, averagely, to get to that point. And so if we don't take care of that at 50, it will manifest in the 60s. If we don't find it in the 60s, it will manifest in the 70s. So it looks like it happened in old age, but it started in in the mid 50s or the 60s, and then it manifests when the person is 80, 90. The same thing goes for all these other things that can be screened. Prostate cancer is another one. Breast cancer is another one. These things can be screened early enough and identified and treated before it becomes, a real clinical problem. So I think that's one big thing that we have not done well at. And I know there has been changes. I know things are better than before, but we can still do a lot more. That's from the systemic, the system point. From the individual aspect is also taking care of ourselves. When we take care of ourselves when we're young, then what we find as we grow older is that we can resist diseases. When we do exercises, when we take supplements, that helps to build up our immunity. When we eat the right kind of food, when we go to the doctor to make sure that our blood pressure, for example, is good, that is individual. We don't, even if the system is not there, we can go and say, I want this checked, I want this checked. And when we do that, we find out that we can prevent so many things. Or if something happens, we're strong enough to fight those diseases. So I think for your question, it would be from a preventive standpoint. And we have to imbibe that habit or make that a culture where we're able to check things out. So for example, the blood pressure, same thing with the screening. If the blood pressure is high, you may keep a blood pressure high for many, many years. And then one day the person gets a stroke. But we forget that they started 10 years ago, maybe even 20 years ago, and nobody paid attention to it. So looking at those things, what we feed ourselves, what we do to our bodies, what we do to our teeth, for example. We have, if the teeth is bad, you already set up for problems.